I've been using the Tesla battery for a week now, and I've been tinkering with it a lot, and we have added all sorts of different upgrades. So in this video, we're going to cover all of the new things that I added to the system. So the first thing that I added is a voltmeter, but this voltmeter is very special because you can program it. So you can program what voltage will be the 0% and what voltage will be the 100%. And the Tesla battery, it's full at 25.2, and in a flooded lead acid 24 volt system, it's going to be like 32 volts. So you need this kind of voltage monitor to figure out state of charge with this lithium battery. And here you can see the minimum voltage where it will do 0%, and then you set the high voltage. So on this Tesla battery, it's completely full at 24.4, and that's technically only 90% state of charge, but that's what I like it to charge to. And then down here, 19 volts, it's technically 0% at 18.6, but I like 19 volts. So yeah, that's how you set it up. And then when you're all done, you hold this, and you hold this down again, and boom, we're good to go. And I must also add that if you use a voltmeter to tell the state of charge of any battery, you need to look at the charge and discharge volt curve because it's not linear. Okay, so this is a good estimate, and it will tell you around how much more power you have left, but you can't depend on it 100%, and the curve goes up in the beginning of the discharge, and then at the end it steeply declines. So that means it will hover around 40 to 100% easier than when you're getting towards the end, which is kind of good though. It should be able to scare you and tell you that you need to stop using your stuff. Also, for a solar power system and the discharge and charge rates, this is plenty for me to figure out state of charge. I will not need anything more than this. What I love about these little monitors is that I have them facing towards my security camera. And this security camera can be looked at from anywhere in the world with my phone. So that's a nice peace of mind if the RV is in storage or something and I want to see how full the batteries are. A couple of other upgrades that I've added is I made the ground cable on the inverter twice as big by adding 2 of them. And another modification I made is the solar charge controller previously was connected to this part of the battery protect. So that means if this disconnects the loads, it would also disconnect the charging. So that's a bad idea. You want the solar charge controller to be always connected to the battery. So I wired it to this one right here, and then it goes straight to the battery instead, and that's a lot better. I have a 24 volt Tesla battery, and I still have 12 volt appliances, and most of the 12 volt appliances are powered directly off of the converter, and I have some circuit breakers for safety, and then here's the common ground. And this is easy. You have 2 input cables that go into the converter that you supply with 24 volts, and then out comes 12 volts, or technically 13.8 volts. But I also have a 4,000 watt generator, and I also have an electric step and water pump. So that means that these 2 wires go to a sealed lead acid battery underneath my RV in the battery compartment, and that is connected to the generator and starts it and does all the other RV 12 volt stuff. But how am I charging that sealed lead acid? And I'm charging it with this converter. So if you had a converter and you charge it with the float voltage of the sealed lead acid, it can work, but a big fear that I had is power going back into the converter. I put my test leads on these wires, and I noticed that there was still some voltage going through this. So what I did to separate this converter from my sealed lead acid so that this can charge it safely is I put a rectifier diode right here. So these 2 wires go underneath my vehicle to the battery, and it charges it all day long. This rectifier diode is rated to 70 amps and I think 50 volts. Yeah. So this is good to go, and I also have it on a 40 amp circuit breaker, and the rated output of this is 40 amps. I've never seen this go above 3 amps, but I just want to make sure that it is properly fused and properly done. Anyways, what this does though is that if the Tesla battery is depleted, you're not going to have power going through the converter and back through, because I don't know how protected and how safe this is. I don't want anything burning up and it being backfed. I don't have any schematics for this converter, and most people don't have it of most converters. So having this one diode to separate the converter to the sealed lead acid will ensure that the power will only go to the sealed lead acid and not back this way. So I hope that made sense. If you're using a converter to charge a sealed lead acid, use a nice little bridge rectifier diode so the current will only go to the battery and not from the battery to the converter. And that's pretty much it. I love this system. It runs so well. I've been using it every day to power so much stuff, and it's incredible, and it charges up so quickly. I mean, right now we are getting 403 watts. So whenever there's power coming through this array, it stays at 33 to 35 volts, and this battery soaks up every bit of it. It's because it has such low internal resistance, and the battery is so big that it can just absorb all the electrons that my solar panels produce. Also, the solar charge controller stays very cool, because before I was pushing it to the peak capacity amp wise, and it was hitting 40 amps sometimes. It has overcurrent protection, so I wasn't worried, but it would get really hot. And now with this 24 volt system, and we're only pushing, you know, 12 amps through PV, and like what's at the battery, 18 amps. So this thing stays very cool. Also, the converter for 12 volt appliances has not heated up at all. I felt everything else. Everything stays nice and cool to the touch. I was also pulling 1700 watts through this 2000 watt pure sine wave inverter, and it would not heat up. This one's actually a really good one. Giendel. And it's cool because they put the fans on before it heats up. My last one, it would wait till it was really hot, and then it would turn the fans on. But this one has no problem running large loads. It also has soft start. So if you have a large load, like an induction load, it runs it really well. I really like this inverter. I'm going to put it more on my website. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this upgrade video, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.